before we actually go into the software demo, I want to make sure that you understand which setup we have here. We have the main part, a Toradex based PLC that is based on an ARM Cortex and a Linux operating system on which we have implemented the CODESYS control runtime system and the Matrikon FLEX OPC UA server. Then we're going to access that PLC from a laptop with the CODESYS IDE. And we will access the PLC also from an OPC UA client that will be the Matrikon OPC UA Explorer. So keep this setup in mind so you understand what I do. So I'm going to switch to CODESYS. So for those of you that are familiar with CODESYS, you will recognize the environment with the tree. I have here the communication settings through the CODESYS gateway, accessing the PLC or the control system, which is based on the Appalachia IMX8, as I was mentioning. And what is new in this tree, this is this component here, that's the Matrikon FLEX OPC UA server. So this is a new editor completely built in CODESYS and available for free on the CODESYS store that allows you to configure the server and to configure the data that will be exposed over OPC UA. So what do we have in this editor? We have the generic configuration, generic setup of the server. We have the setup of the data that we want to expose. We have status information, and we have information about the editor itself with the manufacturer, the version that you have in this case. So what can we do in the setup of the server? So we have the host name, so we tell where the server is and we get the name from the device. Then we need to tell which interface we're going to use for the OPC UA communication. So I can browse all the interfaces available in that device and I pick the Ethernet interface. I have only one on that device, so that's where we want to communicate with the UA client. I can set the port number. Then I've got my endpoint information, so I'm gonna copy this because I'm gonna need to add it in the client later on. After that, we have the possibility to define the number of sessions that we want to allow from the server. So will we have just one session to one client, or will we possibly have more than one sessions? In this case, we can limit at this level. Then I have the scan rate. So how often will I update the value from the server point of view? So we have here in this case 10 milliseconds. We're gonna do a second for the scan rate. The security policies. So security is a very important part of OPC UA technology. So in here we support the different security that are available from the specifications. As in order to simplify this demonstration, I'm going to take none in that case. Then we have the authentication. So here we can do with a certificate, username, password, or anonymous. We're going to check with username and password. So I'm just going to add here the new username and password that I need to keep in mind because I'm going to need that later on when I want to connect to the server. So a very important feature that is already implemented in that CODESYS editor and this implementation of the Matrikon FLEX into CODESYS is reverse connect. So not all of you may be familiar with reverse connect. This is a very important feature that is specified by the OPC Foundation for UA. It is also called Firebridge within Matrikon. And basically what it does, and it is available from the Flex from scratch, but it's also implemented in CODESYS, so we can use it in combination with CODESYS already, is that the main issues that you have in the field to connect the client with the server is that you have typically a firewall with no open ports for you guys for security reasons, and it's very bothering to set up communication from the client to the server, and you would normally need to access a colleague from the IT department that allows you to have communication through the firewall. What Reverse Connect does is that it establishes communication. It initiates communication from the server to the client, going through the firewall and then allowing communication back and forth. So if you initiate the communication from the server to the client through the firewall, then the client can then access as a trusted channel the server. So, and here you can just set it up here by putting the address of the client that will be accessing the server. So in that demo, we will not go into details how to set this up, but we have separate videos either from Matrikon or from BE.services that present you the functionality in using the Flex on different channels. So after the server is set up, then we're going to do the data setup. So I have here a button that allows me to upload all the variables from the application, and then I get my different variables that I have in my small application here. That is just a demo, but that's for the principle. It's very easy to understand. And then I can select what I want to do with these variables.